How many of you know of SQ3R? Survey, that's the S. Question, that's the Q. Then you have 3 R's. How many of you know the best way to learn is to teach somebody else? It's powerful because it reinforces your learning, plus it tells you if you really understood it. Because if mom or dad says, well, I don't quite get that, and you go, I don't understand it either, then very quickly you have to go back and redo it. Now, some of you may not have anybody at home to teach, or they are not interested. Too bad. Teach an empty chair. There's nothing wrong with talking out loud. Thinking is internal talking to a large degree. Now, for some of you, writing it out in your own words is a good thing. I'm lazy. I never like to do a lot of writing, but I learned very quickly to look at it, look away, and do a little dialogue with myself, because it told me if I really understood it or not very quickly. Taking notes, so vital. But most students who do it haven't learned a very simple rule. The first moment you get after a class, ideally right after the class, you should sit down with your notes and expand on everything you jotted down. Give it depth, flesh it out. If you even wait to go home and do it a couple hours later, you will have forgotten some of your own notes. Well, that's a wasted note. But if you take the moment right after class to flesh it out, you now have a little more detail. Odds are at night, you can still recollect it. That will be a powerful addition with only about a 5-minute time investment per class. That is a good trade-off. You've got to memorize facts. How do you do that? What you use, mnemonics. In my view, they're quicker, easier than rote memorization, and I do use them. How many of you have learned that you can take letters and form a word of it, using those letters to remember certain facts? The ones that come to my mind, Roy G. Biv. How many of you know about Roy G. Biv? Those are the colors of the rainbow. Now, if you're in an art class, that could be important. If you're taking physics and you're learning about the spectrum of light when it goes through a prism, or you're breaking down light in anything that refracts it out, like a rainbow, you know. How many of you know of SQ3R? Survey, that's the S. Question, that's the Q. Then you have 3 R's. Read, recite, review. Because we schedule tests, most students don't start studying till shortly before an exam. They put so much time all massed together and only study for about a half hour, pull all-nighters so they don't get the good rest, come in and do poorly. You're undoing yourself. If you start studying early and do some of the things I've talked about, by the time you get to the test, you're just reviewing at that point.